Now let's come back to the notes and do a little bit more work with completing the square. So example 6, the number in front of my x squared, my a, is going to be 4. And we're going to write this in the format a by x plus h all squared plus k, just like we were doing before. So I've got 4 times x plus h all squared plus k equal to 4x squared plus 4x plus 2. And I square out my brackets, x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus k. I'm not going to write that down every time. I'll write it down once I've tidied this up. 4x squared plus 8hx plus 4h squared plus k equals 4x squared plus 4x plus 2. And now my x squareds are the same on both sides. So I can compare my x terms and I can compare my constant terms, remembering that the constant term is everything that doesn't have an x or an x squared in it. So 8h is equal to 4, which means h is equal to 4 over 8. H is equal to a half. So h is equal to a half. My constant term then, 4h squared plus k is equal to 2. But we know what h is, it's a half. So 4 by a half squared plus k is equal to 2. That's 4 by a quarter, so that's 1. Plus k is equal to 2 and k is equal to 1. And then we fill into this formula here and we get, in the completed square format, this is 4 bracket x plus a half all squared plus 1. So that's the answer in completed square format. Now, the next question has a hence. Hence means using your previous answer, using the answer that you just found. So we're finally going to use what we've been doing. Now, a quick reminder about quadratic equations and their graphs. So when I have a positive x squared on my quadratic, my graph is going to be U-shaped. I nearly did it the wrong way around. I have a U-shaped graph. You should remember this from Junior Cert. I have a U-shaped graph. That means when I plot the graph of the function, it starts up high and it comes down to a minimum point. It comes down to a minimum point before it starts shooting back up again. But if I have a minus in front of the x squared, I don't get a U-shaped graph, I get an N-shaped graph, which means that it starts down low and it comes up to a maximum point before going back down again. So, what does this mean for our completed square? Well, any function, any quadratic that's written in the form something times x plus h all squared plus k tells us the minimum or the maximum from there. So the min or the max will always be a point in this format, minus h comma k. So this is important. We change the sign of h. Whatever's in the brackets, we change its sign, but we don't change the sign of the k. You'll see how we'll do that in a second. There's another thing that we need to remember. This is the min or the max point. So a point is a coordinate, an x comma y coordinate, but if you're asked for the min or the max value, then it's just the k. It's the output. It's the y value. It's k. Okay? So we don't change that sign, of course. Let's look at how we calculate those things then. So here again, we're going to write this, and I don't bother writing down the a because I know it's just 1, x plus h squared plus k. So that gives me, when I square it out, x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus k equal to x squared minus 8x plus 10. And I can quickly use my x terms to say that 2h is equal to minus 8 and h is equal to minus 4. And my constant term gives me that h squared plus k is equal to 10. I know the value for h, so minus 4 plus k is equal to 10. That's squared, so that's 16. And k is equal to 10 minus 16. K is equal to minus 6. I can write down my values straight away, but I should write down my completed square format first. So x squared minus 8x plus 10 can be written as x minus 4 squared minus 6. And based on what I've written down here, it's a positive, so it has a minimum point. So the minimum point is, change this sign, 4, don't change this sign, minus 6. And my minimum value is just that, minus 6. So have I answered the question? They didn't actually ask me for the minimum point, but you know what? There's no harm in writing it down. It's just extra information. But we did need the minimum value here, which was minus 6. So going back through our different examples right from the beginning, and I already wrote them down actually. This one here, this was our completed square format. So my minimum point was change this sign, minus 3, don't change this sign, 1. The minimum value is just the second part there, 1. Example 2, here is our completed square. So the minimum point, change this sign, don't change this sign, minus 5, 12. Minimum value, just 12. That means that no matter what value I put in for x, the smallest value that will ever come out will be 12. Here, there's my completed square format, so the minimum point is minus 1, 4. Minimum value is 4. No matter what value I sub in for x there, it will never give me a value smaller than 4. Now, what happens here, I did have a minus in front of my x squared, so I'm going to have a maximum point and a maximum value. The minus is already outside here, but I do still change the sign of what's in the bracket. So my maximum point will be at minus 1 plus 5, minus 1, 5. My maximum value is 5. That means no matter what I substitute in for x here, I will never get a value bigger than 5. Okay, and I'll ask you to maybe do the same thing for example 5 and example 6 by yourselves, because I ended up with a new sheet, and see this one here, for example, we have a fraction for our our minimum point, but the minimum value is still just 1. Okay, so make sure you've got those filled into your notes. Let me know if there's any part of it you don't understand, and I'm going to ask you to work on some of those from the book tonight. Thank you.